You see them in fancy restaurants, food magazines, and windowsill farms. They're microgreens, barely sprouted seedlings. Nobody knows who first added a microgreen to a dish, but if you want to know who made microgreens a thing, it was probably these guys.
You were irritating me. You kept saying, oh, that's not the right
I kept
size.
telling him, I want them bigger, you know?
Virginia chef Craig Hartman and his friend and vegetable supplier, Michael Clark, who's been described as a
Mad scientist farmer, yep.
One fateful day in 1993, Clark asked if Hartman needed anything for his restaurant.
You should grow me these baby greens. And he says to me, hey, Craig, well, what is a baby green? And I said, well, it's a lettuce. And they're small, they're babies.
4 weeks later, Clark returned with 3 plastic bags full of these.
I'm like, Mike, what the is this, you know? So I said, no, baby greens. They're about this long. And he's like, but Craig, this took me a whole greenhouse.
21 days, yeah.
But anyway, I used them that night for my salad course.
Hartman recreated that fateful salad for us. Microgreens, olive oil and balsamic vinegar, smoked duck.
We put a few pieces of this gorgonzola dolce around.
Oh my gosh.
The first microgreen dish ever served.
By pure coincidence, a writer for a national restaurant magazine was in attendance that night.
And she's showing me her plate. She goes, what is this? And I said, it's a newest thing. We call them microgreens.
You made that up on the spot?
I made it up on the spot.
Her article introduced chefs all across the country to microgreens.
And you'll sell all this, right?
Yep, this is all sold.
And Clark's simple misunderstanding led him to start a full-grown organic microgreen business.
We have micro cilantro. Imagine that on a taco. We have micro broccoli, which is...
Of course, chefs had been cooking with bean sprouts and alfalfa sprouts since the 80s. But microgreens come from a later stage of plant growth and many more species.
This is a red Russian kale.
Have there been any experiments that didn't wind up tasting that great?
Micro hay didn't work. The grass was just grass.
Well, look what you've unleashed upon the world.
Well, some people might not be happy about it. You know, some of the young chefs, they'll be like, these microgreens.
Wait, why? Is there a downside?
You're the guy that made us use tweezers. Thank you very much.